Good morning. Thank you. I am Father Froeschl, Father Robert Froeschl, and I'm the chaplain here at Pius X High School. And I think, knowing that, you should kind of question the bishop's judgment. Why would he assign me, So, I'm just kidding. Don't tell him I said that. You guys especially. But it's a pleasure to be with all of you, and I always love Grandparents' Day. I think it's such a great honor for all of you to come out, all you wise people to come out and to spend this time with your children, or your grandchildren, and to be that great witness, that pride that you have in them and that love that you have for them. I had a very special relationship with my own grandparents, especially my grandpa Froeschl, who has passed away now. But he was my hero when I was young, well, even still today. And so I know the impact that grandparents can have. And so we thank you for traveling if you've come from afar. I know we had some from McCook yesterday, and McCook is very far away. At least it feels that way sometimes. We had some from Arizona as well, and so from all over the place. So thank you for making the trek out here. Father Wallmeyer gave an amazing homily yesterday, and so we'll see how this one goes. So grandparents, my grandpa Froeschl was my hero, and I think the thing that sticks out to me the most, sort of the gift that he gave to me, was understanding the love of our Heavenly Father, God the Father. I remember going over to their house when I was young, and the delight that would appear in his eyes and my grandma's as well. They always enjoyed having the grandkids over. And I remember, seeing his face light up, the joy that he had, and the doting that he would do on each of us. Mom always complained about how we would ask her for something. We would ask and keep asking, knock and keep knocking, and she would say, no, that's not good for you. We'd go over to Grandpa's house, and we'd ask, and we'd get it, maybe not immediately, but he'd go to Toys R Us, or, he'd go out and buy it, and Mom was always so upset. She's like, quit talking to Grandpa. He's always giving you that stuff. He's spoiling you. And I said, I didn't say this, but I've heard grandparents say this. That's what you're supposed to do. So, the parents are supposed to discipline, and then the grandparents are supposed to spoil, It's like teaching them that lesson, right? Like, this is what you get for, being a turd when you were little. And that's an appropriate thing to say from the pulpit, so, yeah. So there's a great witness, though, as well, The love that you pour out on your grandchildren. The love, that relationship that you've established, and the impact that you have. I think this is true. So my grandpa died when I was a freshman in college, and it was his death that brought me back to the Catholic faith. I had fallen away. I'd I hadn't really made the faith my own. It was just what my parents were telling me to do. And so when I got to college, I was like, I don't think this is for me. But Grandpa passed away the end of my freshman year, and it rocked my world. My hero had passed away, the one who always delighted when I would be around him. That was a huge loss in my life, and it got me to reflecting. What was it about him? What was it about his life that was so great? What was it that was so attractive, that was so good? And it came to me that it was his faith. He was constant. He was steady, he was secure in his belief, and he was willing to share that with us. And so what made him a good man, I thought, was his commitment to the Catholic faith. And so it was his death, his prayers in heaven for me, that brought me back, that made me think, maybe there's more to the Catholic faith, maybe there's more to what I've heard than meets the eye. And so I began to investigate. And you can kind of tell where the story's going, because here I am. But Grandma, so his wife, Mary Froeschl, so Phil and Mary Froeschl were my grandparents, great people. So Grandma Mary, she passed away in 2012. And in 2012, I had just graduated from college and had become a focused missionary. And so I was reflecting, I was thinking, what's the next steps for me? Okay, I'll tell you. I had a girlfriend at the time. And so we were thinking, there was this inkling, should I get married? And so we had been dating for almost a year at this point. And that was the thought on my mind. What should I be doing? What's the next steps? I remember Grandma was getting sick. She had, I believe it was lung cancer or something along those lines. And so, going back and visiting her, this was on the forefront of my mind. What should be my vocation? And as you can kind of tell, it wasn't marriage. But with Grandma's passing, I feel like, now this is going to sound kind of mean towards her, but I feel like it was her nagging prayers, right? She was always that one. So Grandpa was awesome, but Grandma, she'd always call me to something higher, right? It was really frustrating. She would say, Robert, that's my name, by the way. Robert, God gave you brains. He expects you to use them, And that was really offensive to me because that's not how I lived, right? So I think it was Grandma, finally saying when she got to heaven, tell my grandson to get his act together, And so I blame her for why I'm a priest, which has been a really good thing. But so their witness, their prayers, their lives were so important to me, so dear to me, and I attribute their prayers, their lives, to why I was capable and able to commit to the priesthood. And so they've had a huge impact in my life. And so I'd just like to encourage all the grandparents here. Thank you for your witness. Thank you for being here again. And don't discount your prayers. Don't discount the example of your lives. These guys are watching, and they might begrudgingly accept it or not, but do not worry. Right? If you saw me when I was in high school, I was much worse than everybody here. Really, it was pathetic how bad I was. And so, if I made it to a priest today, all these guys are way ahead of the game. And so, continue to pray for them. Continue to pray for your grandchildren. Continue to be that witness. And as we come to the Eucharist this day, this is the prayer that we offer. We offer this Mass for those that have gone before us, marked with the sign of faith, and for those that we love, right? Our grandchildren, our parents, our family members.